All right. Hey, this is Rhonda Greene, Greene for Governor, and we're going to go through a little bit about property taxes. Property taxes or taxes in general can be confusing and alarming or what have you. But anyway, right now we're doing a live cast. We're here anyway to answer any questions. The technical stuff we've already got like videotaped. And so we're going to go ahead and let you listen to this. And if you have any questions, please type it in the comment section and we'll see them and we'll answer any questions that you might have. All right, so here we go. Hello, this is Rhonda Greene, and I'm running for governor of Indiana, so Greene for governor. But what we're going to do today is to kind of go over one of the platforms that I want to put forward as a governor candidate. And what we're going to dive into is property taxes on your homestead or your residence. If you own your own home and you reside there and it is used as your primary residence, it's called the homestead. And we're going to go over some of the basics of it and why exemption means exempt and what you should do to understand how property tax works. Okay, so here we go. Exempt means exempt. Now, back to basics. Once again, my position as governor would be that exempt means exempt. As governor, I would hold the state legislature accountable to change the 1% cap from the assessed value to the net assessed value after the homestead exemption and supplemental, right? And we're just going to go through that step by step. And if you have any questions, go ahead and message me or whatever you need to do. But we're going to try to make it as clean as possible and as simple as possible. All right, so right now, the 1% cap, there's a 1% cap on property tax on your homestead and is based on the assessed value of your property instead of the net assessed value of your property. Now, a cap means in Indiana that your tax bill cannot exceed 1, 2, or 3%, depending on the type of property, of the assessed value of the property. Now, assessed value is what they believe your property would be worth on the open market. All right. So homesteads are not initially taxed on their assessed value. They are capped at 1% of the assessed value, but that is not what you initially pay because of the homestead exemption. All right. So this is a really tough one, and I'm just going to read it over. And a lot of people are more visually able to learn better. But I'll go ahead and read it, and we'll go ahead and just kind of get this down pat, just real quick. For example, we're going to take the same property in both districts, right? We're going to use Brown, which is at 2% taxable, and Salem, which is at 4% taxable. The assessed value of the property is $90,000 in both districts. Both have a 1% cap of $900, so you cannot be charged any more than $900 on your taxes. That's what the cap means. So to get the net assessed value, you have to take the $90,000 that they assume that your property is worth, less the homestead deduction, which is $48,000, which leaves you with $42,000. And you take that $42,000 by 35%, and you get an additional deduction of $14,700. So you have $90,000 to begin with. You take off $48,000 for the homestead deduction and $14,700 the supplemental, and you get a net assessed value of $27,300. All right. So once again, we're going to talk about two different tax or two different districts that have two different tax rates. Now, and what we're going to use is our own, we live in Brown Township in Washington County. And of course, Salem is like our highest at 4%. So the tax rate, once again, is different. It's 2% in Brown Township and 4% in Salem. So we take the net assessed value, which is $27,300, times the tax rate of 2% in Brown Township. That gives you $546, which is less than the $900 cap. So you pay $546. In Salem, it's different. The net assessed value, of course, is still $27,300, and Salem's rate is at 4% tax rate. So you take $27,300 times 4%, and you get $1,092, which is more than the $900 cap, which is 1% of the $90,000. So your bill would be $900 instead of $1,092, right? This is how they lose to the $192 to the cap. You hear, especially since the budgets are starting to go through, or they're starting to have budget hearings, you'll hear a lot of like circuit breaker loss. So what this, in the last example, what this $192 is that they lose this $192 to the cap, which is called circuit breaker loss. Okay. The only thing that the circuit breaker loss means is that you are being taxed beyond what the state legislation intended. At 4% tax rate, Salem has negated your homestead exemption. Salem is spending beyond the limits that the state legislature intended. Okay. What these same property taxes would look like if exempt really did mean exempt. You take the net assessed value. And which is $27,300, and times the 1% cap of $27,300 would be $273, and that would be your new 1% cap. So in Brown Township, you take the $27,300 times 2%, and you get $546, which is more than the $273 cap. So you would pay $237 instead of $546. In Salem, it's a much different thing. The same net assessed value is $27,300, and of course the same cap would be $273. The Salem rate, even though the Salem rate is astronomical, you would take the same amount, $27,300 times 4%, which is $1,092. It's the same thing, but is much more than the $273 cap. So you would pay the same as we would in Brown Township, $273 instead of $1,000 or $900 or $1,092. Using the net assessed value ensures that you get to keep the homestead exemptions that the state legislature promised you. Not only will this protect the most vulnerable in our community, but will guarantee that all homeowners in the state of Indiana, regardless of home value, will at least have an exemption that cannot be taxed. Exempt means exempt. I'm Rhonda Greene, Greene for Governor. Thank you for listening to me. All right, so I'm still here, and there haven't been any real questions or anything that we can really, I guess, be concerned about. Um, if there had been a question, we could actually show the question like right here, and we are live right now or what have you, and then we could answer the questions that you might have. And today I kept Max. Max is here, and he actually has a lot more answers than I do. If you guys had thrown us a curveball or something similar to that nature. So since there aren't any comments or anything like that, we're going to go ahead and end this. And thank you for listening, and watch for us next time. Greene for governor.